to you live from the mountains of smoke. Firekeeper recovery bringing you hope. If you're living in darkness, look for the light, cause our fire is burning to helping you fight. It's the firekeepers, the firekeepers, 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 recovery. Bumpin' BG, talk recovery. Firekeepers. Welcome to Firekeeper Recovery. I'm Brant.
Bumper Smith.
And a quick check-in. This week I had a pretty good week myself. I got to spend a little me time reflecting, meditating by the river and stuff, like sitting on the rock, just feeling. Forgot where I lived for a long time. I stayed in my house, in my room, on the internet. So I was like internet culture.
Right.
So like last week I was getting back into, remember where I'm at, the best place on earth, the most beautiful place on earth.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like going up to the old places I used to go smoke weed with my buddies out on that rock up there, right below Toe Stream.
Yeah.
Rock out by the river.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, out there it had good memories and now create new memories and with a positive connotation.
Right.
It's good. And then got the experience to rally for recovery and see all the people down there getting excited for door prizes.
That was pretty awesome.
And they look like they got to have some good food. I like Green's Kitchen, but not hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah, that's probably their strong suit. Yeah.
So I didn't try the food myself. But everything else looked fun. I got my goodie bag. I want a Fitbit on one of them little things.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to get fit a bit, I guess.
You get fit just a little bit.
How about yourself, man?
Yeah, shit, I had a good week, working. Get a lot of satisfaction out of my job, Hoping I can help people to make a change, steer them towards recovery. Great weekend. Took my kids to the river, so they can flop around while whittling sticks, and wash clothes, cook for them and everything. Had a root canal done today. For all the scary shit I always used to hear about it, like, oh, they're so bad, it's gonna be bad, like this notion of like how awful it was gonna be built up in my mind, and it's reflected in my blood pressure when they take your vital signs. But then once the procedure starts, after the local anesthetic kicks in, I'm like, man, there's nothing to it. There's really nothing to it. And that's kind of how change can be in your recovery. I mean, it's whether you hear it from other people or it's all in your own head, from your own voice in your own head. Let's build up change. The notion of it to this monstrously, incredibly mountainous thing to overcome, and it's just going to be so fucking bad. And really, it's not once you just dig in and do it. So yeah,
let somebody help you do the work.
Absolutely.
And let you down. It might be a little painful, but at the end of the day, you're going to heal, and then you'll be better for it later.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in that discomfort where growth occurs.
Yeah.
So our recovery question is, what's one of your biggest pet peeves, Brant?
Man, pet peeve in it. Well, I guess because I have an opinion, one of my biggest pet peeves is people that don't know, or when you ask them a question, simple question. What do you want for supper? I don't know. Where you want to go? I don't know. Well, I'm asking because I know where I want to go. I'm being nice.
As a courtesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't have an opinion where you're going to go, then we're going where I want to go.
That's right.
So then that's the whole thing. That's another pet peeve. If you just speak up, then
Yeah.
just be honest. Quit lying. It's a bunch of things.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Peeve.
It definitely is. One of mine is getting friend requests from people on Facebook, or being friends with people on Facebook, but not actually friends in the real world. Like friends with people on Facebook, and then you see them out in public, you know, they act like they don't fucking know you.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you know. I mean, like, why? I mean, because that makes it look like, to me, anyway, like, I don't really want to get to know you in real life, but I'm nosy, and I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's probably not true, but that's the way I perceive it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big pet peeve. Got a bunch of them from people that was running for council. I'm like, who's this person? I don't know this person. Let me check them out. They're like, oh, running for yada yada
For me,
council
yeah.
member. I'm like, man, delete.
Delete.
Yeah, so
Delete.
yeah, that's one of them. Yeah,
Yeah, I bet we could probably do a whole thing on pet peeves.
Absolutely.
Once we started thinking about it.
oh yeah, man. I'll tell you this, but get me bitching about something, I won't stop. No matter how
Yeah.
insignificant it is.
Oh, man.
So our recovery topic this week, what's it going to be?
Oh, yeah, well, I done forgot, but
About when it's appropriate to share, I guess, certain aspects of your recovery story, like war stories or just the gory stuff.
Yeah.
Like when is it appropriate to tell that stuff? Like what type of setting? You know, hopefully it would be in a setting where it can kind of generate more impact
yeah.
with your overall recovery message. But you don't want to trigger people with talking about the dirty details of like, the preparation or ritual of, that you get leading up to the point of using, or even, the routines that you used to have, seeking it, looking for substances or any of that stuff. Like, it's always best to, tell your story from a strengths-based perspective.
Yeah.
But, I think sometimes when you're talking with someone, you're going to have to use maybe like R-rated language. And I'm not talking about cuss words. I'm just talking about like, hit on a couple of the graphic things so, that they know.
You're not lying. Or they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You were there.
So you know that they understand that, this is not, you're just not repeating something you read out of a book or a pamphlet, there's only somebody that was an IV user would know this detail or whatever,
Yeah. Find that commonality, but not too deep. I get it. That used to be my problem. I used to want to come in and shock you a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you realize that it's your story, so you shouldn't be trying to make it hyperbolic. It should be real for you, so that you're being authentic.
Yeah.
Because the story's more for you. In my early experiences of telling it was like figuring out myself. That's why I like telling it when I got a chance out in public, because I was still figuring it out. Every time I would remember something new, or like, that would make me like think about something. Then I could go home and reflect on it, and that'd help me like, all right, so maybe that was. Because that's just something I've done now. I don't know what it's called. It's probably got some kind of name, like my addiction story. Like I can pretty much now go back through, I call it forensic mapping it. Or I can say, all right, I did that drug that time because this was what was going on.
Yeah.
I've done that now where like, yeah, it's weird where I can say, well, all right. I can pretty much say why I started using pills now. Because it was grief, depression, all that stuff. I was just alcoholic up until I had like suicides and a lot of death in my family.
Right.
So I didn't know how to deal with it. Alcohol wasn't enough no more. So,
Yeah.
So that's so you don't tell all that at the beginning. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is I learned from the beginning you generalize a lot more, but as you get better at telling your story, you do have to pull yourself back because you are remembering a lot more of the details and stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to remember that a lot of people you were talking to are in early recovery or just trying, or thinking about it. Maybe not even thinking about it.
Yep.
So that's why it's been hard but easy now as we've been doing this. Like, we know how to talk better now.
Yeah.
What is affecting people and what language turns people off or whatever.
Right. And with a lot of our experiences here, with people that we're talking to that, wherever they're at in a recovery journey, they were either part of that particular story, or know somebody that was, or related to us, or related to somebody that was. And I guess the idea in telling your story is to like revisit it, but not relive it. You don't want to, because early on in my recovery, when I was sharing at different parts of my story, it was like I didn't want to dig too deep too fast, because things were still fresh, and I hadn't quite got the hang of all the coping skills and grounding techniques to help kind of, get me settled back down. After getting, kind of worked up. I know whenever we're telling our story and particular situations where we might have been using and something funny happened, we're laughing and carrying on about that, we've got to be careful about that, because, we don't want to like romanticize it or make it something that's funny, when really it was, sure, something funny maybe did happen, but it's, look at the gravity of the whole situation, like where we were at, what we were doing, and how unmanageable our lives were at that point. Also, like, and maybe it's something I did early on, without being aware of it, but also, when you're telling your story, you don't want to make it a competition. Like, hey, I was more fucked up than you were, or I was out there further than you were. It's because it's not what it's about. It's about, we're all out there to varying degrees, on various substances, but now we're all here trying to encourage each other to heal and to be our best selves and to have some camaraderie in this community of recovery.
Yeah, and I guess also when you're like a meeting setting is different than if you're out at like a rally. We had examples of people telling their stories at the rally.
Yeah.
That one you can be a little more, I don't know, you can be a little more big and open because you're trying to entertain that crowd too.
Yeah.
Like at a meeting setting, that was one where you're talking, you're talking to people in addiction and in recovery, so you can tell your message. And I think them are easier. That helps me stay on topic more anyway.
Yeah.
Like if I was asked to speak somewhere in public, I'm probably going to have a few jokes, a little anecdotes, whatever. I'm going to have a few things to try to entertain too, or whatever.
And it's probably going to be like PG.
Yeah. Monitor the language.
Like it's not going to touch on like some of the gore. Maybe kind of like point to it, but without actually like, saying it, like talking about it, like whatever it was.
Yeah. I wonder what PG would be. What words would you say for like? Would you not want to do like say like rig and stuff like that? Because I know like the 7 dirty words, that stuff probably. Like, what else is it like? Is it like saying shooting it up or?
I think with recovery language, the main point of changing the language is to reduce stigma, so that you were a person in long-term recovery instead of saying a recovering addict. Or like words that have negative connotations. We're moving away from that to more positive words or phrases. Like instead of relapse, it's a return to use. Instead of clean or dirty drug screens, it's appropriate or inappropriate screens, things like that. I mean, and I guess early on, whenever I was first hearing this stuff, it seemed like, I'll be honest, it seemed stupid to me. I was like, man, these are not good things I was doing. They need to have negative connotations. I need to be ashamed of the shit I was doing, and how I was living. But as I progressed in my recovery journey, I'm like, me thinking that way and feeling that way, not only did it, probably affect other people around me when, talking about my recovery or my recovery story, but it was probably self-limiting in how effective I may or may not have been at sharing my story or even trying to talk to somebody about recovery,
Yeah. Yeah, but negative self-talk is something I'm working on. Because it is easier just to say, nah, I'm a loser, or something like that. Or, no, it's my fault. Instead of like, maybe it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Instead of just taking the blame because it's easier or something.
Man, a good practice that I really took to, and it's a coping skill, was thought stopping, and that was one I really leaned in on, and especially after reading that book that I suggested to you, because, any negative thoughts coming in, it used to be it kind of struggled to get them out of my mind, and focus on something positive or something other than the negative.
Yeah.
But now it's like as soon as it comes in, swat it down, because that's not, I don't know, that's not really me. I don't really feel that way about myself. Why is that voice in my head trying to tell me these things? And that comes from shit we heard growing up from maybe other people or peers at the time, growing up. Somebody gives you a hard time for, being fat your whole life, then you're probably going to have a hard time accepting yourself if you are fat.
Yeah.
I make fat jokes about myself because I'm okay with being fat.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I like to think I'm funny.
Yeah. I know. I miss my fat jokes. People don't laugh as much. And I didn't get fat because I didn't like being fat. It was a whole lot easier. I just wasn't healthy.
Yeah. And that's true for me too. It's in my recovery life, I was making unhealthy choices and not doing anything positive to change that. It's the exact same thing with with my my lifestyle choices. I don't mind going hiking and doing physical stuff or whatnot, but if I'm given the option of doing that or just kicking back at the house, I'm going to kick back at the house, and that's a choice. That's a lifestyle choice. I know that if, just like with all the food I eat, like pizzas and burgers and ice cream and all this wonderfully delicious stuff, I don't have to shy away from that or be abstinent from that the rest of my life. But, I could just change it up, have that every now and again instead of on a regular basis. And maybe go for a walk. Yeah. Go hike the trail or something,
Right now, it's a choice you're not willing to make.
Yeah.
Because it probably your kids like it. They do it.
Yeah, I mean, my kids tell me, they come sit on me or lay on me. They're like, you're so warm and soft.
Kids don't want fucking broccoli and steamed chicken.
My kids will eat it, though. They're pretty good about eating their veggies because they know if they don't, they're not getting any ice cream for dessert,
Yeah.
But, I mean, everything is, it's a lifestyle choice, and one of the best ones you could ever make in a positive direction is, with your recovery.
Yeah.
It's every day that we're alive, man, it's a chance to turn shit around. It's a chance to start that journey. And it's tough. It's a challenge at times, but that's why we have resources available. That's why we have people we can talk to that are in recovery.
Yeah.
It's if there was somebody else doing a podcast that wasn't you, I probably wouldn't have any interest in doing it. But I like hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So, that made it an easier choice for me.
Heck yeah. That's why I like you too. If I didn't like talking to you, I guess I probably wouldn't ask you.
Right. But where did it all start? It started in our recovery meetings.
Yeah.
Started in our groups.
Then going out and smoking outside and hanging out a little longer.
Yeah. Talking about serious stuff in the recovery groups, and then during our smoke break, we cut up and make jokes, and it's like getting to share different aspects of our personalities or our stories with each other.
Yeah.
Finding out that we got a lot in common. Most of us do from Cherokee.
Yeah. We just weren't we was either a year or two off of age, or just was over there in that friend group.
Pretty
Or
much.
your drug dealer was a different guy, so you was just never cross paths.
Right.
That's why it's weird. You're like, you did drugs? Well, where'd you get drugs? Well, we got them over there. Like, damn, they sold drugs? I wish I knew.
Yeah, like anytime anybody asks you, where'd you get that? I can't tell you.
I know, I would.
Secret, even though like you pass like damn 10 or 20 cars on the way in and out of the places, you know.
But there's that thing, just in case somebody didn't know. You might be able to get a piece of their pill if you had to take them. Were you gonna give me a line or
Oh,
something?
the finder's fee, yeah.
So I got it after a while. That's why I just went to the ones I trusted as I went. Guess I go see Bobby. I know Bobby's watching. All the way in Oklahoma.
Man, the good thing about life now is there's none of that struggle.
Yeah.
None of that, waking up sick or having to find a way to, and none of them were positive, prosperous ways of coming up with money to buy substances with. Man, it was criminal behavior. It was lying. It was, being manipulative. It was stealing, cheating. I did all of those things. It's,
all of them, all the bad things.
Yeah. But life now, it's none of that.
I used to think I was so smart on it. Watch this damn scheme. Watch how this works. And then it works, y'all. Then you're like, God damn, now you're all like, wow. If I got caught, I'd probably be in jail.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I ain't gonna tell you what I did because I don't know them things. I didn't kill nobody.
It was survival,
Yeah.
It's just the way that the brain works. And, once you start to feel the withdrawals come on, it kicked your brain into the survival mode, and I know
Make this stop.
Yeah, and I know I went to some pretty extreme lengths at times to avoid being sick, and only to ultimately all of that effort, all of that time, all this wrongdoing I was doing, just so that not to be high, but just to keep from being sick, just to feel normal.
I know that's what happens when you start realizing you're not getting high.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And but now.
And it still takes a year to quit. I'll be all right.
But now there's medications to help. There's therapy, counseling, support groups. I'm really glad that I made the choices I did and had the help I did to improve my wellness, especially to a point where I have what I have now. The most important being all the time that I've got with my children, all the relationships and the trust that I've rebuilt. Got good, decent credit. People trust me, and I'm assuming overall have a general perception of who I am, and I worked hard for that, and that's something I'm, really grateful for and want to maintain.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Let's hope people just know, or they can see the change. That's the thing about it.
Yep.
The actions and everything.
And for anybody that's still using or in the pre-contemplative state or the contemplative, whatever, or maybe it never even gave a second thought to recovery.
Yeah.
Everything that we're talking about, all these positive changes, all the things that we've accomplished, the relationships we've rebuilt, it's possible for all of us. It's possible for all of us. Because the alternative to recovery is in and out of jail or death or, living in active addiction. And there's no joy in that. There's no life in that. There's no spirit in that. It's a pretty dreary and dreadful and miserably lonely place.
Yeah, it's somewhere I don't want to go back to.
No, me either.
It's like so now I look at it kind of the opposite of that, the labyrinth. So it's when you're falling down into that hole, and now all the hands that were grabbing them, making the faces. Now you can look at that in reverse, like all them hands are pushing you. But well, no, them hands did stop them from falling. The helping hands.
Yeah,
they were making fun of them, but they kept them from dying.
Right.
So that's like the people in your peer support, your therapists and stuff. They're the ones who grab you and help you get it down into the darkness. They might not stop you from falling all the way into the darkness, but they'll make it a softer landing.
And they'll be there to help you climb out.
Yeah.
And that's the real journey, is the ascent out of the pit into life again.
Yeah.
You know.
And David Bowie there singing at the end. It could be all a great giant labyrinth of life.
Yeah.
But that's what's great about Cherokee now, being born in this time we're born in, is like Cherokee is taking recovery seriously. But it's like, let's say recovery in Cherokee is a feast, well, they're still missing like a pinky or something. They got almost everything they need for recovery in Cherokee. But all of it has to be between 8 o'clock and 4:30.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So once we get the rest of the clock, then we'll have a full fist to fight this addiction. And I'll be happy to lend my gloves to cover that feast.
Man, it's a worthwhile effort, man. You know, recovery work, you know, it's whether you feel like you're making a difference or not, you know, just to be a part of it and to help people, encourage people, and to show them that there's a better way. You know, that's its own reward right there.
Heck yeah.
It is.
Well, I like that discussion.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You got anything going on this week?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, it's pretty light week.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna watch. If you're around Wednesday night, go watch wrestling. Blood and Guts on AEW on TBS. That's
Right on.
Crazy. And that's about all I got. We might see you again this week for another podcast.
Right.
So for Firekeeper Recovery, I'm Brant Grant.
Bumper Smith.
And remember, we'll keep the light on for you. Eastern Bay, Cherokee, Firekeeper, Recovery. We the Firekeepers, the Firekeepers, the Firekeepers, the Firekeepers. Yeah. Coming to you live from the mountains of smoke. Firekeeper Recovery, bringing you hope. If you're living in darkness, look for the light, cause our fire is burning and they're helping you fight. It's the Firekeepers, the Firekeepers, 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 Recovery. Bumpin' BG, talk recovery.